Amber Heard is back following a year. Where could Amber Heard now be? After her name being in titles, images all the rage, Amber is by all accounts carrying on with an extremely calm life. Be that as it may, would she say she is presently back on the scene following a year? Before I get into what's going on with her, click the buy-in button so you never miss a video when it's been posted. Do we owe Amber a statement of regret? There's presently a string on Twitter where individuals are composing the way in which they were inappropriate to have upheld Johnny, and that they're currently saying sorry to Amber. The string is named, "The World is Awakening at Last." The moment of retribution is drawing nearer when individuals who upheld that oppressive attacker will be compelled to defy and make sense of their activities. Better make your statements of regret now #apologize to Amber Heard. This string has made me wonder who we ought to have upheld during the Johnny versus Amber preliminary. At the point when the tale of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp preliminary, or maybe more exactly, the narrative of Heard as a lowlife, victimizer, and liar, ruled TikTok for a really long time in 2022. It truly arrived at various youthful watchers. The preliminary, initially a body of evidence that Depp documented against Heard for slander, turned into an intermediary for a more central inquiry. Whether the jury trusted Heard or Depp's story of homegrown maltreatment. The treatment of the preliminary on a stage focused on youngsters demonstrated something shocking about the Me Too world, even among a more youthful and probably more edified age. To some it appears we actually have not established a climate where ladies can stand in opposition to sexual savagery. In the event that you were not on TikTok in spring 2022, let me get you up on what occurred. You were unable to go a moment without seeing a video intended to one or the other assault or disparagement Heard, painting her as very unlikable. A few recordings contained viral allegations in kids about her doing cocaine on the stand since she was so intense as to clean out her nose. Others portrayed farces of her declaration. One way or the other, there was a perpetual stock of content dogpiling on a supposed maltreatment casualty, the gatherings of which are as yet piling up large number of perspectives. And it is obvious who numerous clients on TikTok were agreeing with. Obviously, the truth of the case was not, however, straightforward, as a large part of the web's conviction that Heard seemed to be off base and meriting this web-based badgering. Amber's fans accept Depp lost a close indistinguishable case in the UK, where the adjudicator decided that there was adequate verification he was oppressive to Heard and had made her apprehension for her life. To some, he utilized a typical strategy of liable abusers, meaning he denied assault and made himself the person in question, in his technique to win the U.S. case. This is the sort of thing that lawful specialists are probably mindful of and typically wouldn't succumb to. And maybe the reason Depp lost his adjudicator just preliminary in the UK. However, which the typical individual on a jury is significantly more prone to get involved with. Her allies accept these realities alone ought to have incited the normal individual to think about how conceivable it is that the predominant account about Heard was off base. Yet none of these realities appear to make a difference, notwithstanding a mind-boggling wave of online disdain against her. One essayist stated, "I saw this happen continuously, and being confounded with respect to why my age, which should be more mindful, more women's activist, and more delicate to the situation of female maltreatment survivors, right after #MeToo, was taking part in this open disgracing of Heard so anxiously." The essayist go on with, "I conversed with female survivors. I realized who were confounded, as well as profoundly resentful and unnerved by the aggregate disgracing of an individual survivor only for discussing what she had experienced." It appears to be this response was shared by numerous different survivors. The issues of her maltreatment being derided on the web has delivered many inquiries. What's the significance here for undergrads? At Earthy Colored College, the Title AX and Orientation Value Office delivered measurements showing that sexual unfortunate behavior reports had expanded by 52% between the 2020 to 21 and 2021 to 22 scholastic years, from 87 to 132. While this increment was possible because of the revisitation of grounds post-coronavirus, it likewise could be ascribed to strategy changes that made detailing more straightforward. This expansion in reports is, truth be told, a possible positive, taking into account exactly the number of cases that go unreported on each school grounds. The Assault, Misuse, and Interbreeding Public organization reports that 13% of all undergrad and graduate understudies experience rape, which, assuming that cross-country rate turned out as expected at Brown, would mean a yearly number a significant degree higher than the 132 reports the college saw the year before. Rayan additionally reports that just 20% of female survivors report episodes to policing. A recent report observed that most of undetected school attackers are chronic culprits, making it substantially more perilous on the off chance that they are not revealed. The disparagement should stop. Amber's allies accept that the mass disparagement of a high-profile survivor doesn't support most of survivors on school grounds who don't report these occurrences to approach. Maybe some saw the case as a unique example where a more youthful, less renowned, and less influential lady was the victimizer rather than the person in question. Maybe some saw it as over-reported VIP show that generated a couple of interesting jokes. It doesn't make any difference. The message shipped off survivors on school grounds, including at Brown, was clear. Don't approach. Try not to be the following Amber Heard. The aggregate assaults on this apparently distant lady add to a culture of hushing our companions what our identity should uphold and make a place of refuge for. It is a higher priority than any time in recent memory that we as a whole guarantee this culture doesn't proceed. However, who do we owe the conciliatory sentiment to? Some are of the view that we as a whole owe Amber Heard a conciliatory sentiment. It doesn't have anything to do with whether you actually like her. It has almost no to do with her by any means. It has to do with the survivors here and across the world, who presently feel that they are substantially less protected to shout out. Notwithstanding, others like joke artist Bill Burr has made an appearance saying Johnny Depp is who merits an expression of remorse. Burr shared his help for Depp during his Monday morning web recording, saying he's too huge of a Johnny Depp fan to watch the live stream. "I love that person," Burr said. "I would rather not hear this large number of individual subtleties and poo. From what I've seen, the person is fucking obliterating." He proceeded, "And what's perfect about this is assuming he truly uncovered this individual for lying. I'm contemplating whether this large number of individuals that, just acknowledged her lies about him, in the event that they will apologize some way or another." He added that while general society has openly destroyed Depp, contingent upon the result of the legal dispute, the Oscar candidate ought to be offered at least some respect. It'd be great assuming they openly apologized and expressed. "Perhaps in the future we won't rush to make judgment calls," Burr said. "It truly astonishes me how the pendulum simply doesn't appear to swing the alternate way. These ladies' gatherings that when they see a lady that falsehoods like this, which truly harms their situation, since there are ladies out there that are seeing someone this lady clearly lied and guaranteed that she was in. Also, for somebody to go out and lie about it, it harms individuals that are in it. You would figure they would cover this. What is Amber Heard doing now? Amber Heard lives extremely quiet after the debilitating preliminary she had with Johnny Depp last year. The entertainer is away from the spotlight. She lives discreetly in Spain with her girl. After such countless outrages, Heard picked the island of Mallorca to resign for some time from the entertainment biz. A couple of days prior, she was found in a recreation area while playing with her girl. She looked exceptionally quiet, cheerfully, or more all blissful. Heard lost the claim against Depp and fell into a profound discouragement, and Hollywood shut its ways to her. Heard pursued the goal of the preliminary. Amber Heard formally pursued the sentence by which she was indicted for a maligning wrongdoing carried out against the entertainer Johnny Depp, who granted her a mogul remuneration. As per the Los Angeles Times, the entertainer's legal counselors considered that there were various mistakes during that media preliminary, in which even individuals from the jury gave interviews. For example, the way that the conference was held in Virginia, and that the court wouldn't concede as proof a few correspondences among Heard and a few specialists. The star of the Privateers of the Caribbean adventure planned to blame her for verifiably referencing her in a 2018 commentary he planned to compose for the Washington Post. In its decision, the jury sentenced Heard and granted $10 million in compensatory harms and $5 million in reformatory harms to Depp. The jury likewise granted $2 million in compensatory harms to her, as the entertainer documented a criminal objection against her ex, whom she likewise blamed for criminal maligning.